Welcome back to Business AM. We're still on taking you through some of the biggest events in the economy as we know of it today. It is Monday. Hopefully tomorrow you're ready to move on to Nyayo Stadium to commemorate the passing of your second president of the Republic of Kenya, that is Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. Meanwhile, stakeholders in the micro, small and medium enterprise sector gathered Friday to review the proposed MSME policy, which aims to formulate solutions to challenges currently plaguing the sector. If passed and adopted, the policy will ease access to funds for MSMEs as well as provide opportunities for market access, thereby allowing the MSMEs to scale up. Our reporter, Ondebo Ganga, had a conversation with the Industrialization Principal Secretary, Dr. Francis Owino, on the proposed policy. Now, there seems to be a huge focus from the government on the MSME sector. That said, the sector has failed time and time again to post proper growth that would contribute to the growth of the economy. Now, the MPC is also pushing for cheaper lending rates in the economy so as to address the question of access to credit to the sector. Now, I just want us to stop with that, look at that conversation. That's the first part of the conversation with Ondebo Ganga and Dr. Francis Owino. And then after that, come and talk about exactly what he's trying to say.
Government has set up which is Micro Small Enterprise Authority. That is going to provide the overall coordination of the sector in terms of both nationally and at the counties. We have officers that we are sending to the counties. We are making sure that they know everything that the SMEs require, so that there can be a bridge between other government agencies and other government actors and harness the needs and the requirements of the sector.
And that's exactly what the conversation is about. And has been a conversation that has never stopped, isn't it? I mean, Abraham, it's not the first time that we're talking about the problems that the MSME sector is facing in this country.
You see, the problem has been, and you've rightly said it.
Yes.
This is the same story we keep saying over and over and over. Now, the question is, why aren't MSMEs contributing to the economy the way they should?
Yes.
One of the biggest problems, number one, is that we've not even counted them. By counting them, I mean we don't even know where more than half of them are. So they contribute to the economy remotely and anonymously. Now, if you listen to what the PS is saying, he's saying that they're at an advanced stage to come up with regulations to create a fund. Now, we are using, those are old methods to solve this problem. The government cannot fund the SME on its own. You know, I don't know when we'll stop this.
Yes.
What we should be talking about is how do we bring the private lending sector on board to fund this sector. See to the private sector lending arms and understand why they don't want to lend to this sector.
Yes.
And start dealing with those issues. And one of the best ways to do that is to create a guarantee. In most countries around the world, what the government does is to bridge the security issue, because it's a security issue. The banks want to be sure that when I give you my money, I'm going to get it back.
Yes.
The SME, on the other hand, is a startup, has nothing to offer. So the government, since you say you believe in the SMEs, then put your money where your mouth is.
Yes.
And how do you do that? You guarantee these MSMEs to the sector.
Yes.
So countries around the world, the Asian tigers have done it through a guarantee system. And that can be done here easily, but literally a copy and pasting with a little bit of domestication. Mm-hmm. But the idea of saying that we are putting in X amount of money, I mean, how much money would you need to have that for that fund to be funded? And not forgetting, it is the same budget that we have just spoken about. That is one thing in terms of how much it can provide. So you have an SME fund, you put 10B, what will that do? 20B, what will that do?
Yes.
But why don't we tap in into how do we tap into our capital markets?
Yes.
How do we tap into our money markets? How do we tap into the venture capitalists? We need to, that's what we need to have, because that amount is infinite.
Yes.
But the question is, why aren't they touching the MSMEs? That's what we should be addressing. But now talking about regulations, I've had this all over and over. So it will not solve the problem. We're just wasting time. I'm sorry to use that word. That is a waste of time. What we need to do is to address the problem in the room. The problem in the room is that nobody wants to touch MSMEs because they are not sure that they are startups, number one, and number two, in case of a rainy day, where is the umbrella?
Yes.
Yes, that is the issue.
Yes. Abraham, I just want us to look at exactly what is actually convincing the peers that this is the best time for them to come in with these new regulations so they can start charting the unlocking of the MSME sector. Richie, if you do have that one, just give it to us right now so I can form our second talking point.
Which campaign?
In the Act, there's a provision for a registrar of SMEs. In the process again of bringing that registrar on board. Once the office of the registrar of SMEs is on board, we will find a way of using that registration and taking the act of registration of SMEs, because you can benefit from government if you're not registered. We must know who you are, what you do, how you do it, how you come into being, how many you are, and so on and so forth. That is going to be the function of the registrar of SMEs. That is just about to be operational.
Pretty much. Now, for the very first time, we're going to have a registrar of SMEs under MSER, which is now being, let me say, empowered by the Ministry of Trade and Industrialization. Fine, Abraham. But it has taken us all this time for us to come up with this now. But is it not possible for us to get this data from KRA on which SMEs we actually have in the country?
No, precisely. Okay, I'm an MSME. I'm on River Road. I've been doing my business for the last 10 years. I've been making my money.
Yes.
Why do I want to be registered? Why would I want to bother to be registered? So it is a government that needs to know where they are. Not these people need to come to register. That's why we're getting it wrong. So we need to go and find them. They will not find us. And that is what that presupposes.
Yes.
It presupposes that these people have been waiting for the registrar to come. Now they line up to be registered.
So that they can tell them, we're here, we need our money, we've been doing this for 10 years.
Have been doing their thing for a long time. It's just that we don't count them. I've started by saying, if you can't count them, you can't do anything to them. So we need to find ways of counting them. But it's very easy to count them. The county government has a big database of those people, because those people, for them to operate, the one thing they must always have is a business license. So the data is there.
Is it confusing to you that the president is over the other side tasking Matiang'i to come up with a task force to actually tell him exactly what's wrong within the MSME sector? The Trade and Industrialization, PS, is also telling you that for the very time we empowered MSER, we're going to the counties to register these businesses. It's as if they know what the problem is, but over the other side as well, there's another task force that's also going around the country also telling us what the problem is.
Now, I think the ministry at the moment imagines they know what the problem is.
Yes.
Let that task force go around, and it will establish what we're just saying here.
Yes.
The MSMEs will tell them,
yes,
we are here, but we've been doing just fine without government. We've been doing just fine. But the question is, what is this value that the government is going to add to us that will make us want to come above radar?
Yes.
Because by coming above radar, it means you start paying taxes, paying levies and everything. What value are you giving to us?
Yes.
The issue that is it contributing to GDP? We don't know. Because you cannot count you cannot enumerate what you can't count.
Yes.
So the issue is, at the end of the day, this sector is what is keeping us alive, whether we accept it or not, whether we can be able to count it or not.
Yes.
Creating a bureaucracy around it is not going to change things. What we need to do is create enabling environment.
Yes.
Enabling environment involves bringing all stakeholders, and the stakeholders are mostly the financiers.
Yes.
Ask them the big question: why aren't you lending to this sector? On the financing side, on the compliance side, asking the MSMEs, why are you hiding from government?
Yes.
Those questions need to be answered. But saying that there is a registrar will not solve the problem.
Do you feel that everybody is actually trying to address one part of the problem? We're giving weight to just the finance side of actually the MSME sector in this country, when in reality, I mean, we've scrapped up the cap on interest rates. The only thing you did in 2019 towards the end of it is actually see the improve of credit growth in the SME sector by just 7.2%. Everybody was expecting double digits. Now that everybody kept on saying that financiers were running away from the cap on interest rates. Look at what the Central Bank of Kenya is doing. The Stawi product, finance. Look at what the PS is doing, finance as well. Is there any other problem other than finance?
But you see, you remember we said it here, and remember I told you that they were saying the reason we are not lending the sector is because it's a cap. Yes. And I told you they'll remove it, and we'll see if it will grow. Has it grown?
Does not grow.
Because the banks have their own appetite.
Yes.
So that appetite will not change because there's no cap.
Yes.
All the cap removal will do is to allow them to price those risks that they have their appetite for. But it will not move them from what they have no appetite for to what they don't.
Pretty much.
So, moving to the SME, you cannot solve an economic problem through legislation. That's what we are doing here. It has never worked. Look at the cap. We try to legislate an economic problem. Look at the disaster. That is what we are doing here. We are trying to legislate, creating an office of registrar, and we'll create all those monsters, but we will not solve the economic problem. The economic problem has to be solved economically. You have to bring people in a room and ask them the economic question and the financial question. Why until, and the reason they're not doing it is because it does not make economic sense or financial sense, because then they need for business.
Yes.
So how do you turn this around for me to make economic sense? Legislation will not. In fact, that creation actually will make them run away further. Because now you're talking about a registrar.
Yes.
So I'm sure in those clauses, in that law, that they'll have punitive if you're not registered, all those things. But if you incentivized being compliant, if people knew that if I'm compliant, if I go to a private lender, I have more premium than the queues will go round and round and round. So in a nutshell, I think the problems of the MSME can be resolved in other ways other than the ones we are using. Because you and I know that this is not the first time we're trying to do this. We've done this before, and it has failed. So what makes us think this time round it's going to yield different results?
And we end Business and Economic Review on that note this morning. Catch more of these conversations. You can actually go to our YouTube page, that is at Metropole TV Kenya. And the good thing about us being live there is you can actually take us back and watch us from the start to the end. Remember, you can actually get talking to us through our SMS lines, which is at, which one is that? 21406, isn't it? And then after 20146. Talk to us, write to us, right there. We shall respond to you back immediately. And some of you have also been looking for the contacts of the guys that we host in the studio. That's the best way for you to get it. Want to talk to Abraham? Write to us. We shall respond to you immediately. We take a short break. Once we come back, let's look at the other parts of the economy that are trending. I'm talking about the sector trends. Good morning.